Here we are. We're going to start with a sponge and some liquid latex. And we're going to start by putting our hair back because getting liquid latex in your hair sucks. I take the sponge and just kind of use the shape that I would put the mouth. I ended up putting it under my nose, and then I went back and changed it. You'll kind of see me do that. But once I get the latex down, I'll add cotton. Just kind of build up the mouth. And then once you're done with that, you do another layer. And you just kind of keep building it until you feel like it's good. This is where I end up moving the piece from below my nose to above my nose. So then I can kind of make a creature that looks like it doesn't have a nose. Totally your preference. You can do whatever you want. That's what I wanted to do. When you're adding the latex, don't put a lot on. Just kind of get enough so it's sealed. If you put too much on, it takes forever to dry and it sucks. Just keep adding more cotton until it looks good and it likes what you like. If it helps in between, you can blow dry your mouth so the latex will dry. It's up to you. I think I dried it a couple times in between as I was doing this. And then when I was kind of had like the third layer of cotton on, I was kind of making it stringy so it looked kind of gross and like skin hanging. And then I put some latex on my finger and kind of blended it out so it would blend in with my skin. And then I would smooth it just so it didn't look like a hard edge. And I dried this and I went back and realized my chin was too small, so I added some more cotton. So I took like a huge, and I put like a super thin layer of latex on here. So I kind of made it so my nose and my chin were about the same width or length. You can kind of see it right there when I was drying it. And then I started putting the teeth on, which you'll see why you shouldn't do this right at this step, but I started to. And then right here I was pulling away the latex from my nose so I could get the teeth underneath in between there, as you can see right there. I added some cotton to kind of give it a little bit of support. And then I put some cotton under there to kind of help it stay. And then I added the black here, which you should add the black before you start putting the teeth on, but it's my first time doing this one, so I didn't think about that. And then I just added some translucent powder here to get rid of the shine on the latex. Here I just used some foundation that matched my skin and covered up all the cotton and latex. It's super cheap. I think that stuff I had was like $6. And a little dance. Cool. So back to this pain in the ass thing, but I ended up adding the teeth with the latex, and what I ended up doing that I figured worked is by putting the latex on it, letting it dry for a little bit, and then sticking it on, and it stayed so much better rather than having to sit there and hold it and mess with it like I am here. And I just used I made the teeth with polymorph plastic. It's like a moldable plastic. You put it in a cup of hot water to let it dry. or to let it melt, and then you can mold it into whatever you want. And then here I was just kind of filling in the rest of the teeth, and I just kind of put them in all different directions. I put them some up and down and sideways, and just whatever you think looks good. And then once I got those all in, I dried it with the blow dryer, and then I started painting. So first I started out with making the teeth yellow, because super white teeth are not monster-like. The next color I used was the Aged Blood in that palette, to kind of give it like a dirty, bloody kind of look. I was kind of going back and forth between different colors, but those are the two that I for sure put on first. And then as I went on, I just kind of kept adding them. I think I ended up adding brown next. I kind of touched up some of the yellow. I added brown just to create a little bit more depth before it went on with straight black. And then here I did some bruise tone. It was like a reddish. Gonna give it a little bit more dimension. And then I think I added like a purpley bruise tone there. I think I just went in and added a little bit more brown, or like a dark red. And then this is when I added the black to give it the most dimension. The teeth look a little plain to me still, so I ended up going over them with green, which I believe is the Live Adjuster in that palette, is the name of the color. It also helped me blend in the red that I got on the teeth as I was painting the other parts. And then I went back in after I got all the green on and added some brown on the teeth to give it a little bit more like a fade from the gums to the point. And just kind of keep adding until you like it. I added a little bit of the vein tone from that palette for my cheeks, and then I sprayed a sponge with some alcohol and dipped it in the green to kind of add some like gross color to my skin. So I ended up going off camera and I went and added some white contacts and then scab blood. So I found that the best results that I get with scab blood is just kind of dunking it in with my brush and getting like a big scoop of it and just rubbing chunks all over, instead of putting it on really thin and nice. Because if you put it on super thin, it ends up turning too red and it doesn't look real because real blood isn't super red, and it usually turns out pretty awesome. So right here I was using the Ben Nye bruise wheel, and I went from like the dark purple color first, and then I went to like the dark red, the red, so I kind of just went in the circle, from darkest to lightest to kind of build up my colors that I was using. I pretty much used all of the colors in there. I used like the green and the yellow on the outsides, and then I used the purples on the insides. If you look at like an actual reference of a bruise, generally it's dark to light from the center out. And then I kind of just build up until I like it. Just a little bit goes a long way, so don't use a whole lot. And there it is. I call it a creepy swamp monster, seaweed mouth person. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This is my first video that I've made like this. I feel like it was such a learning curve for me. I've never done anything like this before. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share, tell your friends. I would really appreciate it. Thanks.
Come here, Cat! Come here! Come here! Come right here! Come on, Cat! Oh my goodness, Boo Boo!